here? Well, the man with his truck and his grabber arm came yesterday while I was at work and got the logs. I was tickled to death about that. Amazed that somebody wanted sweet gum, but that got rid of those. And I got out here last night. I had cut some of this stuff shorter than he wanted to mess with, so that's what I'm left with here. And this stuff's heavy. Sweet gum's hardwood, it's dense, it's just heavy. And I came out here last night with my little saw and found out that it's just underpowered for cutting this stuff up that I've cut up right here, so that I can lift it just to put it in the trailer to carry it over here on the back side of the farm somewhere and pile it up and let it rot. But I want to get into finishing cutting some of these pieces up here so I can lift those and get them on the truck, trailer, whatever, transport them out of here, and keep on getting this cleaned up so I can claim it and turn it into what I want to turn it into. So that's just one of the little projects here today. The other project's to get the battery charged up on the combine so I can get it cranked. This is my chainsaw. This is my biggest chainsaw. This one's about 3 1/4 horsepower. It says John Deere, but it was not built by John Deere. It was built by a company called Efco, E-F-C-O. This model is the CS52, and it's a powerful saw. It's the saw I used to cut all those trees down. But I noticed when I was last using it the other day, this chain right here, you can see it, that's dangerous. That'll fly off, jam up, break, make a big mess. So I loosened up these two right here. I think they're loose enough, and you put a screwdriver right here and you turn this screw this way, and you should be able to see the chain moving up as I turn the screw. And that is about right, not quite, but let's give it just another little turn here. That's right. Now drop back down. I really heated this thing up when I was working it the other day. Alright, let's try that again. This motor's got plenty of power. It runs great. It'll flatten all of this. Chain's still pretty sharp, so it'll flatten all a log. A little bit more. Yep, I'm good with that. Yeah, Efco builds these saws. They build this one, paint it green, put John Deere on it. They build another one, paint it yellow, put Cub Cadet on it. And then the one they stick their name on is red. Well, when I first saw it, I thought they had stuck Massey Ferguson's name on it, but no, they had Efco on that. I like the saw. My pole saw's a steel. Most all my other equipment is steel. I saw this at the John Deere dealer one day. Needed a real chainsaw. All I had at the time was a Poulin, and that's a super light duty, occasional use homeowner saw. Even their so-called ranch saw is nothing that I would really want to have to use all day long. A chainsaw should have enough power that if you drop the weight of the chainsaw itself on the log you're cutting, it should keep right on cutting. You take a Poulin, that little piece of junk that I've got, and if you just drop the weight of the saw itself on hardwood, it'll actually bog the saw down, and you have to lift up on it to get your RPMs back, and that will work you to death. It's one of the reasons I dislike that saw. Okay, that's tight. Alright, problem solved. Now, this has here and the fuel here. Let you see the model number there. And yeah, this saw's got a really neat feature. It's such a high compression motor. There's a compression release right here for cranking it. You push it in. When you crank it, it'll pop it back out. But it makes it a whole lot easier to crank with having that compression release on it. Now, a friend of mine, he's got a large steel. I don't remember the model number on it, but I did look it up, and it has an 8 horsepower motor, and that thing is fun to crank. Well, let me go get some gas and oil. Be right back. Well, let's go over here and see what's going to happen if we try to crank this. It's been running a couple of days. And I think the saw's out of power, out of fuel. I know I'm close to it. See if you'll run a little bit more, please. Nope, you're out. Whew. All right, another good run. Get the fuel. Almost got it all cut up where I can haul it out of here. That right there is going to be a monster. And the sad thing that happened over here, and I didn't see it, but that right there is barbed wire. Right across there. And I see it right now. And my saw is cutting like garbage. It came out here and still cutting like a hot knife through butter. So I got a bad feeling I found a piece of barbed wire in that stump right there. Dagnabbit. And I still don't have that thing cut down enough that I can move it. This was a double tree here. And this side right here, that right there, up in the core of the tree, is a problem you get into with sweet gum trees. See, it looks like dirt that I'm bringing out of there. Well, this is an interesting thing that goes on with nature. There is, see how I'm just pulling that right out of the center of the tree? It's like that right there. Alright. I felt it when the saw hit it because it started dragging real bad. It was like putting saw in dirt. Here's what's going on here. If you ever see black ants working around a sweet gum tree, kill them. Kill them quick. What they've done is there's a certain thing called a mite. And they go and capture these mites and bring them next to a sweet gum tree. The mites will get into the sweet gum tree and do this. Now, the reason the ants are doing what they're doing, to the ants, the mites are like cattle. They eat them. So they create their little mite farm. The mites have the tree to eat on, thrive and reproduce, and the ants have the mites to eat on. But I knew this tree had this problem because I saw the ants here, and they had been here way too long. Well, killing off the ants, and not sure if I had killed the mites or not, but I knew the mites had done this kind of damage to this tree. So if I kept on digging at this like I'm digging, from here you could go all the way down to the ground because the mites came up from under the bottom of the tree. That right there, 10 years from now, good windstorm, this tree would have snapped off. That was one of the reasons I wanted to cut it down. This side, well, in the structure of the tree is what's called a split. You had a big old trunk coming out here and a big old trunk here. That split right there is a weak spot. The right windstorm, and this tree was close to 100 foot tall, it was about 80 foot tall. The right windstorm get this thing to swinging back and forth and around, and it would split right here. Well, look right there and right there. And I'd be calling the insurance man and saying, got a tree in my house. He'd come over here with all their science stuff and find this right here. And he'd say, well, that's your problem because you had a diseased tree next to your house. Good luck getting your house fixed. Yeah, I've seen insurance agents do that. It's life. Okay. Over here. So far, that's the only tree that I've seen that black ants doing the mite farming in. This piece that I had to cut this off in all sorts of pieces, but you can see they were right on up into there with it. And then there's a hole they had eaten out of there. Yeah, don't let a diseased or a sick tree stay around your house. It'll be a problem for sure, and one you won't like. But I have burnt my chain, dagnabbit. I'm gonna try to go ahead and finish up this job. Yeah, you'd see blood off my finger if that chain was still sharp, me doing something like that right there. But I ruined it. I can probably resharpen it, but I need a new one. Yeah, there's a nick in that. Yep, I nicked it up good. Yeah, I hit that barbed wire somewhere. But if I can just cut those, let's see what I got. One more log. Yeah, 2 more logs. If I can cut them 2 more logs, I can haul all the rest of this out of here. So I'm gonna keep at it. Gnats, ha ha ha, you can't get in my eyes. I got on these glasses. Yep, you're empty again. I like to save one of these bottles. This is real convenient for not having to pour oil all over the saw. You can pour it in the saw. It was old gear oil bottle from back in the days when I didn't have big equipment that you may as well go ahead and buy that stuff in the 5-gallon bucket. Alright. Alright, let's see, I'm pretty sure the fuel's out too. This thing, I like this saw, it's got plenty of power. It's not running quite right now. I need to adjust something right there. It's a high and low adjustment. I'm not going to mess with it today. I just want to get the rest of this cut up so I can lift it and get it on the trailer and be done with it. Get it out of here. Go away, gnats. But this saw drinks fuel. This is about the 5th tank that I've put in this thing today. And it was cutting great until I hit that barbed wire over there. Alright, that ought to be enough to finish. I'll whack on that stump a little bit until I run it out, because another thing about 2-strokes, this is an occasional use saw. I'm not into cutting trees down anymore. It's hard work. So I want to run this thing completely out of fuel. Run it completely out, choke the carburetor and keep pulling on it until it's out of it. This is pure gas. It doesn't have any of that ethanol in it. I can still buy some pure gas at a local station, but I still have never been one to leave any kind of fuel in my 2-stroke motors that are occasional use. Blower, string trimmer, I use those so often in season that I'm not too concerned about it. Alright, saw, let's play pull the string. And the compression release is in, the starter button is on. And it just works better if you put your foot right there. Now, get that right. What are you going to crank on first crank? I'm not used to that. Okay, fine. Alright, let's finish cutting this.